Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groones is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groones.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
It's the Go Gopher Podcast with Mike Grimm, episode number 80. I am Mike Grimm, voice of the Golden Gophers, and welcome back to the podcast. Our podcast this week is coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana, where it's Big Ten Football Media Days as we record from here in Indy. I'll be joined by special guest host Darrell Thompson. He's with me on the trip here, and DT and I get to sit down and talk with fifth-year senior safety Tyler Nubin. The St. Charles, Illinois native chose to forego a chance at the NFL last spring, and he decided to return to Minnesota for another season. He discusses all kinds of interesting and compelling stuff with us for episode number 80. Our Go Gopher podcast is presented by alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're a business founder planning to exit your business, start by contacting Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. Sunbelt serves more businesses up to $5 million in revenue than anyone, and True North M&A serves companies with revenues up to $150 million. Get a confidential, no-cost, no-obligation business valuation started today. Make the most of your life's work. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com today. We're also partnered with Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union here on the Go Gopher podcast. Affinity Plus is your local credit union throughout the entire state of Minnesota. Find out more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, one of the very best Golden Gopher supporters. Our podcast is also sponsored by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland at ChamplinInsurance.com. Tony is a big-time Gopher football fan. We're podcasting episode 80 from the Aquarius Home Services studio. We invite you to subscribe to the Go Gopher podcast. In fact, it's free to do so, and you can go back and listen to past podcasts. Last week, for example, we spoke with college football writer Scott Docterman from The Athletic and previewed the Big Ten West chase. It's still timely. It's worth a listen, so go back and have at it. This week, it's episode 80, and Darrell Thompson and I are talking Big Ten football with Golden Gopher safety Tyler Nubin when we come back.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit TrueNorthEquityPartners.com.
Hi, Gopher fans. Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on lights, we switch TV channels, we switch on the TV. And with the new transfer portal, some college students even switch colleges, which can seem crazy to us diehard fans. But what's not crazy is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, my agency can switch you over so we can start saving today. My team is ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood and show you it is, in fact, easy to switch and save. When you want the real deal, check us out at ChamplinInsurance.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's episode number 80, the Go Gopher podcast. We are at Lucas Oil Stadium for this week's episode of the show. I'm Mike Grimm, along with Darrell Thompson, who joins us. Good to see you again, DT. Thank you.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's been a fun couple of days here in Indianapolis. You and I got to take in the minor league baseball game on Tuesday night. We saw the Indianapolis Indians beat the Louisville Bats. That was fun. $1 hot dogs. You were not partaking in the hot dogs.
You can't eat hot dogs.
He was out on the hot dogs.
Banned in my house.
I had a $1 hot
everywhere.
Dog. It was, but we had a good time. And then last night was the St. Elmo night, as always,
yes,
and the shrimp cocktail and the great steak. And so it's been fun here. And one of the players who's back for year 2, year 5 as a player, year 2 here in Indianapolis is Tyler Nubin.
Yeah, well, I wish it was year 2.
Yeah, year 2, you'd have another couple, right? But year 2, you were here at this event last year,
yep,
and here you are again. And I we joke about this shrimp cocktail, whatever they call it at St. Elmo. Did you have it last year, or was last night your maiden voyage?
That was my first try. First and last time.
That's it.
Yeah,
You didn't like
What's
it.
this, just too hot for you?
I'm not a spicy guy. I can't do that, and it punched me in the face. I don't want to do that again.
I can. You just got to learn. It just grows on you.
Yeah,
After the first time, you got to try it again. We'll bring you back in there again, and we'll sit down with you with a little bit of water, prep. We can get you right.
I'll say it wasn't that bad. It didn't last too long.
Yeah,
it didn't last too long.
But it does clear your brain, doesn't it?
I was breathing a little better after that. Yeah.
There's just that weird kind of feel, breathing better.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had a real bad stuffy nose, I think that'd be the cure right there.
Yeah.
That would clear it up. Well, let's talk some football. And even before we get into football, I know you tweeted. We were recording this on Thursday. You tweeted yesterday about that online article about the alleged toxic nature of the program. It's been a couple of different things on that, and you were pretty adamant about that. That is not the case. So I'll give you a platform here on the podcast to explain what this program's about and why do you think this stuff keeps coming up? Why is it? What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everything in that article is a joke. My experience in my 5 years being there has been nothing but positive. Obviously, like I said, I wouldn't come back for my 5th year if it wasn't. It's a life program, and some guys aren't looking for that, and some guys are, some guys aren't. We're not just a football program. We're a life program, and we're going to hold you accountable for everything that you do. Not just on the football field, in the classroom, what you're doing outside the classroom, even what you're doing at home. Just everything that you're doing, and sometimes that's difficult for some people, and I feel like that's just the result of that.
Tell me this, you had an opportunity. I was thinking about the NFL and things like that. And I think everyone's childhood dream is to play professional football.
Right.
You elected to come back and continue playing college football. What went into that process for you?
Yeah, just the program and the culture, and I've had way too many great memories and had way too many great teammates at this university to turn down the opportunity to come back one more year and use my COVID year and play with my brothers and get one more shot at a championship run this year. But honestly, other than that, I feel like I just had room to grow as a player. And I know that Coach Rossi, Coach Collins, Coach Monroe, they can elevate me and get me to where I really want to be at.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking forward to your play this year, and I think you've seen a lot. You've been in secondary for a long time. You're going to be a leader back there. Are you excited about some of the other young guys that are with you, and then some of the older guys that are with you as well?
Yeah, I'm super excited about the young guys that we brought in the transfer portal, guys like Jack Henderson, guys like Craig McDonald, but also young guys like Darius Green, Coleman Bryson, Aiden Gooseby. We got a lot of great DBs back there that are ready to play. They're hungry. They play hard and they're smart too.
Jordan Howden was kind of your running mate back there for your whole time here.
Yeah.
What is it going to be like? Probably watching him on TV on Sundays here and not having him next to you on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. That was my road dog for sure. We definitely had that that different level of communication. That I didn't even have to say anything. It was just a little hand signal. J-Hal knew what I was talking about. But D Green, Darius, he's been phenomenal, man. Just stepping into that role. Really becoming a leader, and we're growing that bond as well. So I'm really excited to play with him.
And then how's the rest of that secondary? We talked this week in Indianapolis with PJ Fleck. Obviously, you got Justin Wally. He's the rock on one side, and then that other spot's kind of open. I know you're getting to know the two of the transfers, and then there's some guys that have been in the program a year or two who are knocking on that door as well. How do you foresee that other side kind of unfolding?
Yeah, there's a lot of great guys that can play the position. I think, it's going to be a collection of all those guys doing it. But, guys that we brought in like Tyler Bride, Trayvon Jones, even young guys like Tariq Watson, we got a lot of guys that can step into that role and really play the corner position. And, like I said, they're all smart, they're all hungry, and, they all want to play.
Then you got that the nickel spot. Jack Henderson has come in.
Yep.
I was impressed in spring ball. He has a little thud to him. Darrell kind of calls it a thumper.
Yeah.
He can thump, it looks like. Even in spring ball, you can kind of see that.
Yeah. That's all he does. That's all he wants to do, really.
That's good.
So that's a great addition to the team. That's the type of guy you want to have on your team, not the other side.
Hey, so I was also just kind of thinking about, you've been here for a long time with Coach Rossi. Do you feel like with your seniority that you're going to get a little bit more freedom, maybe to do some things on your own, maybe be aggressive, back up inside the box a little bit more?
Yeah, hey, we'll see what they got in store for me, man. But Coach Rossi, he's always drawing things up, scheming things up throughout the season. So I have no doubt that he'll have something for me. He'll definitely have something for me for sure.
Absolutely.
I'll use you as an example sometimes when people say, what do you like about your job? And one, being around campus, Darrell, I think you feel this way too. It's fun being around younger kids, young adults now who want to achieve. But then you look at Tyler's story, and he comes in, plays as a true freshman. It was a documented high-level recruit. Mostly special teams. He had this guy named Antoine Winfield that he was trying to beat out at the time.
Hey, who's that guy?
Yeah, who's that guy? And then as a sophomore, got to start, was good. Made a couple mistakes, as young guys would, and then, man, the confidence from your sophomore year to the junior year, just even, we've talked about it, just the way you even just walk from the huddle or walk out of the tunnel or go to the sidelines, and now here you are in year 5. That progression, to me, that's one of the, I have nothing to do with it, but just to watch it unfold is one of the cool things and for my job to see that.
Absolutely. It's fun, and just the confidence. You can see it in a player. They feel like they know where they're going, they know what they're doing, even just coming on the field. Like in the beginning, I feel like you're intimidated, like by everything. Everyone, these big older guys, and I don't know what to do. I don't know the signs. I don't know the coverages, but through time that comes, and really feel like it has for you.
Right. Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. It's really just a culmination of my coaches trusting in me and being there for me, my teammates being there for me, through the times when, I was struggling, and just really always having my back, and, knowing that, I'm going to change my best, and, I'm not going to stop getting better. So, that work ethic that was instilled in me, really early at the university really helped me blossom into who I am today.
How does that help now, too? Because I'm thinking there could be someone in your position, I'm not saying this would be you, that would be, man, I've been all Big Ten now. I've got a 5th year. This summer I can kind of cruise through this, and I know everything, which, a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But from this culture you talk about, the hold to the standard, I know last week you even commented that some of the young guys will hold you to the standard too, right?
Yep.
And so how much does that help keep you on your toes, so to speak, so that you're not just like, hey, I've been around, I don't have to do that extra weightlifting session or the +3 or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps a ton, man, because in our program and our culture, it really doesn't allow you to get comfortable. No matter what stage position that you're in, we're always looking to change our best and strive for even more than we already can achieve. So it's just really easy, honestly, especially being in the program for 5 years. It's just like second nature now. We're not sitting back, gloating on the things that we've done and sitting back on the things that we've accomplished. We're always looking to accomplish more, looking what's next.
What are some specific things this summer that maybe you worked on, and then how now do you want maybe your game to even evolve to another level, which is already at a pretty elite spot?
Yeah. One of the main things I'm working on is just getting the full understanding of our defense, not just my position, not just the guy next to me, but guys like the linebackers, the D-line, just knowing what they're doing and really understanding the schemes of the defense and why Coach Rossi is making the calls he's making and what situations he's actually making the calls in really helps me understand how I can play my game differently and help what Coach Rossi's trying to accomplish in the call that he's making.
That's one of the final evolutions of a football player. If you're going to play and you want to play professionally, right. The more you being an academic All-American, all those things, all those pieces help. But the final evolution of a player is understanding film and film study, recognizing what the offense is trying to do to you, 100%. How you can be, the leverage, the help to know, and also starting to know the personalities of the offensive people, because people do whatever they do really good, right. They're going to keep on doing that.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
You mentioned last week something in the media scrum that you had with us on that media day, and you said that one of your goals through film study maybe this year, and you started to catch it last year, was you want to know the offense better than that receiver knows the offense through film study. How do you accomplish that?
Yeah, film study, honestly, that's it. Just really breaking down the details in the situations, because like Coach Fleck says all the time, the game is full of situations. So you can't just look at a play as just a play. You know, offensive coordinator is not just calling the play to call the play. He's calling the play to try to accomplish something. So, you know, just watching film in a different light and perspective, like an offensive perspective in that sense, and getting to understand why certain calls are being called, why things are being ran, why this situation, what does this situation call for, what type of plays they're running on third down, what type of plays they're running on, you know, P and 10, you know, 1st and 5, things like that. I think that a lot of guys don't take that into account, you know, especially on the offensive side. They're like, oh, I just got to play. I got a slant right here. So I feel like if I understand your offense better than you know your offense, I'm probably going to win. I'm probably going to have a better game than you. So that's really my goal.
As you do that then, like say in an average week, how much film are you watching, and then how much do you ask, are there film guys in within the staff that can help put cut-ups together? How do you know what to watch for, and how many hours does it go?
Yeah, we have a lot of guys, honestly, in our little necktie tank that can, you know, help us, you know, compile film together. But one of the guys I usually rely on is Andrew Bindleglass. He's a wizard with that stuff, just bringing up cut-ups and things like, you know, third down cut-up, like goal line cut, just any type of cut-up that you want, like situation that pops into your head, he could probably find 60 plays of that exact situation.
From whatever team you might be playing.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, that type of thing is really invaluable, that, you know, we have that resource in him, that, you know, something that I think of on a Thursday that, oh, okay, I want to look at, you know, all the third and shorts, all the 1st and 10s, all the, like I said, P and 10s. He'll bring you a cut up with like 60 plays throughout the season, last season, 3 years ago, like stuff like that. It's crazy.
When you bring in those young guys along, I mean, I think you saw a lot of it with Antoine and with others. I mean, it makes a big difference if you're able to bring, so you knowing it is one thing, but you being able to communicate with your teammates, you know, to the linebackers, friendly, especially the other safety, the corner.
Right.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah, 100%, man. Just having everybody on the same page, it just makes playing defense a lot easier.
We had Mariano here last year, and he talked about he had been watching film since he was watching film of his 12-year-old games. You know, so he was kind of, you know, always watching film. Like when he was 12, his parents would film the game and he'd watch. So that guy has a natural gift.
Yeah.
When did you start really did you do a lot of film study during your high school career? And then when did it really start clicking that this is a key piece to being the complete player?
Yeah, honestly, I think it really started in high school. You know, my high school coach, Coach Pomazak, over at St. Charles North, he was a real, you know, real detailed guy. You know, he ran that program like a college program, honestly. I think it really got me ready to, you know, be prepared for what I need to do in college. But I feel like I didn't really understand watching film and, like, how to actually, like, really watch film until I got to college, and, you know, seeing how those guys do it, how Winfield did it, how Jay Howe did it, just learning from those guys and their, like, personal experience and how they use that to elevate their game. I think that really helped me, like, really understand where watching film comes from.
You can talk a little bit about your process of coming. How did you pick the University of Minnesota?
Honestly, I feel like I really fell in love with it right when I stepped on campus. It felt different. It just felt like a family atmosphere, like someplace I could, you know, really see myself for 4 years. And, you know, I really liked the culture, and, you know, my parents especially too, just liked how the program wasn't all about football. You know, there was a lot of places that I've been, a lot of places that I visited, that's all they talked about. They didn't talk about academics. They didn't talk about things outside of football, things that we do community service-wise. You know, just believing in stuff bigger than you. I feel like that wasn't really going on a lot back when I was being recruited. And, you know, that's all they were talking about here at Minnesota. So I just really fell in love with it. How
many visits did you make?
I say like 3 or 4 before I committed.
And then how about other visits to other places?
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of
Yeah, I did. I had a lot of visits, like unofficial. I didn't do a lot of official. I only took one official to Minnesota.
And then that was then you knew?
Yeah, I knew it, yeah.
You mentioned Antoine. He's now in the NFL. Do you watch NFL games, and do you watch safeties? Do you study that film too?
Yeah. I love watching NFL safeties, honestly, NFL DBs. I like watching Quandre Diggs. I like watching Micah Fitzpatrick. Just looking at, like, simple things that I can pick up from my game, things that they're doing, how they're playing certain coverages. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things. You're already starting to talk about and learn. The more you know, and studying some of the great players from the past can certainly help you as you go forward with your game.
100%.
Are you a Bears guy, being from Chicago?
Yeah.
So
it's tough.
You never know, though. I mean, the North might be wide open now with Aaron Rodgers leaving. And when the Bears come to town, do you get a chance to go watch them, or are you too busy on the Sundays in the football season?
Oh yeah, I'm too busy. Yeah, way too busy. Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah.
Your brother's on campus. We've talked about this. We spent a pretty good chunk of when you were on the podcast last fall about this and how that maybe got you in a comfort zone and helped build your leadership. How important is it that he came along and you guys are now sharing this great time together at this young, robust age?
Yeah, it's huge, man. Just having the opportunity to play with my brother, it's something that not a lot of guys can say they did, and it's just awesome. Having my parents come up here, almost every weekend during the season, just having us all together, it just reminds me of high school. It's just awesome, man. I love it.
Well, what's interesting, I think that your brother's going to get a lot more opportunity. He did a great job in the spring game. I said he's dynamic. He's a different kind of runner. I think the running back room's just kind of changed anyway. I mean, Mohamed's gone. He's moved on to NFL. But
right.
I'm excited about your brother. I think he's going to get some real opportunity this year.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm going to do a quick sponsor mention here, and then I want to ask Tyler about the Gopher offense, because you see it in these drills and in practice, and get a perspective there as well. But first, we want to thank Affinity Plus. They're your local credit union, proudly serving Minnesota since 1930 and a proud sponsor of our Go Gopher podcast here. If you're a current Gopher student or a proud Gopher alum, you are eligible to join this financial that wants to build a meaningful banking relationship and always put you first. Meet with a local employee at any of their branches statewide, including one right near campus on University in Minneapolis. To learn more or find other ways to connect, here's the webpage, affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA. We thank them for their support of the Go Gopher podcast, and they do things a different way than most banks. So get in touch with them, and we thank them for their support. Tyler Nubin with us. I'm Mike Grimm. Darrell Thompson with episode 80 now of the Go Gopher podcast. So let's talk some Gopher offense. Darrell mentioned that running back room. No Mo Ibrahim. Think about P.J. Fleck is entering year 7. Mm-hmm. This is the first fall camp he'll open without Mohamed Ibrahim and without Tanner Morgan. That's crazy to think about. But so Mo is gone. He beat Mr. Thompson's record, all-time leading rusher. Now I've introduced him for 11, 12 years as the open of the broadcast as the all-time leading rusher, and you're still number 1 in our heart, DT, but I got to say you're number 2 now on that list, But records are made to be broken.
That's true.
You held it for 30, right? 30 years, I think.
Something like that.
31, something like that. So what you see it, you're on the other side of it. It's going to be a new-look room. What do you think of that group of running backs?
Yeah, it's going to be, like you said, dynamic, man. I feel like a lot of them, they all have different skill sets that, they specialize in. So, it's going to be awesome seeing all those guys get the opportunity to hit the field.
What do you think about the receiving core? I mean, I know you get an opportunity to go and get some a lot in practice, things like that. But what do you think about those receiving core? I mean, especially Chris Ottman hopefully he'll be back. He will be back this year. But some of the new guys you've seen out there. Yeah,
it's the deepest room that I've ever seen here. Honestly, just across the board, just the talent that we have, guys that we brought in like Elijah Spencer, Corey Crooms, but, like you said, Chris, we got Chris back, we got Daniel Jackson, we got LeMekhi Brockington, we just, we got a lot of athletes that can go out there and really run and really catch the ball, so, it was a tough spring for us DBs, not going to lie, but, it was fun. We're going to make each other better, for sure.
It was interesting to watch the spring game. I know you wanted to be out there and be part of it, and I felt like, Crooms, those guys were like, they were really taking advantage of the guys that were out there.
Yeah.
So
I think it was only 4 cornerbacks on the whole roster, right? So that was probably hard for those guys. And you only played 1 defensive play in the spring game, and then you got the touchdown as a receiver.
Right, yeah.
But you got to see those guys in that practice. in spring during the drills, and then you factor in the quarterback as well.
Right.
What that depth? How do you think that there's 5-6 guys? I mean, Chris Hoskins, we haven't talked about him. He can run, right?
Yeah,
we know
exactly.
that. I mean, he's a guy that could find his way into certain packages, I suppose, offensively. How do you think that offense will evolve when you're on the sideline watching?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun to watch because we got two guys that are super creative at the helm. Coach Simon and Coach Harbaugh. So I think they're gonna find really creative ways to use all the weapons that we have and exploit the defense in that way.
Well, you also have a new quarterback.
Yeah,
too. I mean,
exactly.
with Dathan, I mean, he's probably a little bit more of a runner than Tanner Morgan, and wink, wink,
Yeah.
and a strong arm too. So it looks like it just feels like there's going to be more opportunity, and I think it'll be good for you guys in practice. You will get pushed. I mean, having that level of competition in practice pushes you to be better and to work on your craft and your game all the time.
Yeah. Honestly, that's true. 'Cause I really think we have one of the best receiving corps, top to bottom in the Big Ten. So being able to go against that every day, it's just preparing us for the season. The guys that we're going to face during the season as well.
So you talk about the season. A lot of people talk about the schedule. All of a sudden, Michigan and Ohio State's part of that. You're on the road at North Carolina, on the road at Iowa. Wisconsin comes to Minneapolis, and there's others. You can't overlook anybody really in this league. How do you look at the schedule? It probably is an uptick from a year ago, but how do you look at that as a challenge?
Yeah, we see it as an opportunity. That's what we've been saying all year is opportunistic schedule because, we got the opportunity to really show what we can do here at the University of Minnesota and show what we've been working on the past year and, how hungry we are this year. So it's just opportunity, man. More eyes on us, more talent, more, better games. We're ready for it. We love it.
Hey, so here, how many games will your parents make it to? Your mom's got like a special Twitter handle.
Yeah.
We got how many games will your parents make it to?
Probably all 12.
Okay.
Not gonna lie.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's awesome, bro. I love it. Especially my brother being up here too. They're empty nesters now, so they guess they ain't got nothing better to do.
Well, there's a benefit to being football. I mean, having a basketball playing son is a little more challenging because they have games during the week, but there is a benefit that it's Saturday, so they can gear up. They can leave, Thursday, Friday sometimes to get to wherever it is. And being in Illinois, they're kind of in the middle.
Yeah,
so they can get around.
They can get to road games,
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So.
And I always get a kick because I see him not every road trip, but you'll see him in the lobby of the hotel, and when you and Jordan will walk in, and just the smiles that you get to that you get to share there. That's got to be awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. We got a real close knit family, bro. So like I said, it's unbelievable being able to see them every single weekend. Being here with my brother, it's awesome, man.
August 31st is that first home game, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and in one sense, it's it'd be great to fast forward to that and just get that next week. But there's work to be done. There's a fall camp, and we don't want summer to go away quite yet, anyway. At least for the non-playing guys, I'm sure that fall camp in the middle of August gets a little. I know last year it was break the boring. I don't know what the moniker will be for it this year, but how much do you look to look forward to that first game? Are you putting much in now, or is it we got to concentrate on the little details of fall camp at this point?
Yeah, we're obviously always looking forward ahead to where we're going, but our main focus is always in the now because we still have a ton of work that needs to be done. Bringing up the young guys, getting the transfers in, really understanding the defense at the level that everybody else is at. So there's still a ton of work that needs to be done, and we're gonna take it day by day and squeeze all the juice out the orange every single day.
There's just something to the summertime, the workout, the exercise, all that piece. And to me, even though I'm 55 years old, I still smell football season. Like smells like football. We see football. I'm like, this is like football time. I know no air is whistling through my ear hole or anything anymore. I can't do any of that type of stuff anymore. Like I said, I can't jump over anything. But I mean, it is that special time of year, and I do. I mean, I think you're approaching it correctly. I mean, it is every day. I want to stretch. I want to run. I drink water. I'm going to get a little bit better every single day. Right. And I'm really looking forward. Is there anything that you are excited about, this season that as you're going into it, your senior year?
Yeah, honestly, everything, man. I haven't been more excited for a season athletically than this season ever, and in my whole entire life, I feel like. And just knowing that this is my last season. Last season with my brother. last season, playing college football. I'm just, really trying to take it day by day and, really just enjoy everything and, not look too far ahead, not look too far in the past, just, stand where my feet are and really enjoying the time. So, doesn't go by too fast.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to wish time away.
Yeah.
You mentioned, your brothers here and now your friends, your teammates have now become almost a second family, I'm sure. I think even Brev last year commented specifically citing you and Chris and some others that part of his decision to come back was because he didn't want to leave you guys behind.
Right. Yeah.
How and Darrell knows this. I mean, you still stay in touch. I see you texting former teammates almost any time I'm with you.
Yeah.
Still to this day, right?
No, it's forever.
And I'm wondering what those bonds are like, and who are some of the guys that like you really like. It's not cliquey. I don't want to say that, but there's you got a group probably of dudes that you hang out with.
Yeah, honestly, guys that have left, like J Howe, T-Time, those are still guys that, I talk to regularly. Like, those are my dogs, man. They always will be, honestly. But, I just feel like we just got a really great team this year. I feel like everybody, hangs out with everybody, for the first time ever. Everybody just gels and clicks with everybody on the team, they had the Beyonce concert at the bank. I'm pretty sure, 95% of the team was there, just all together. So, it's awesome. We have a really, really close-knit team, family-type team, and, I'm really excited this year.
Yeah, I had that on my list to ask you about Beyonce.
Yeah.
We talked to PJ earlier about it, and he said that a couple of the guys are like, man, I've never sat in the stands in this stadium. That's kind of cool. Was that a unique experience?
That was my first time, too. Yeah, it was cool. It's not bad seat up there. I thought it was a little farther away up there. It's not bad.
Give us your review of the Beyonce show. How was it?
It was great. It was great. Yeah, we had to leave a little early because we had workouts in the morning. So I left 25 minutes into the set. I had to go to sleep.
You get some rest.
Yeah, I had to go to sleep. I get up early, so I had to go home.
He's getting old. He's got the senior citizen hours now.
Hey,
right?
he knows that REM sleep is important. You want that body to be right. I mean, that's just this guy. He's training. He's ready for the next level.
Yeah,
I'm wondering about that because you are one of those guys. Even in practice, you want to hit, you want to go all out all the time. I mean, the stories are legendary of coaches trying to keep you out and you trying to get in. I mean, you had the head coach's wife texting him to get into a scrimmage at one point, which is one of my all-time favorite stories. Heather was telling me that you're standing next to her at I don't know if it was a spring scrimmage or what. It wasn't the spring game itself, but she's texting PJ, you really need to get Tyler in right now.
I told her to text him. I told her because he wouldn't listen to me. I asked him, we had a scrimmage, I had to ask him if I was playing. He said, nah. So I was like, all right, I'm going to ask the boss now.
Yeah, and it worked, right? You got in a play or two?
Yeah, I got 2 plays. That's it. Yeah,
that was great. But Mike, what Darrell talked about, you learn, okay, you need the sleep. You eat right. You got to, maybe in practice you're learning, I'm not going to try to take the head off of a receiver. I'm going to be in the right spot, whatever. How has that evolved for you over the course of your career?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I've always had the same approach and mentality when it comes to practice. I think it's just gotten better as I've gotten older. But I'm not the type of guy that can just turn the switch on, flip it on. When the game comes, when the lights turn on. I don't believe in that. I don't think anybody can. That's just something that I've always believed in. So me and myself, my confidence comes from how I work and what I do every single day. So without doing that, putting my body on the line every practice, playing hard and, giving everything that I possibly can in practice every day, I don't have the confidence that I can do that in the game because it doesn't switch on like that.
There is one speed in sports. I try to teach it. I did teach it to my kids. I said there's one speed, full speed.
Yeah.
I said, and then you can always kind of back someone out or sit them out, or they can learn to work with a little bit. But the one speed, the full speed is that's the right speed. You got the right mindset.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. You're going to get hurt out there if you're not.
That's true. I mean, there is, we've seen that, right, where guys are, half-stepping, as Darrell likes to say. Don't half-step it.
Don't half-step
but you half-step it, you're probably at more risk for injury.
That's a good one. I'm going to use that one later if you know. I'm going to use that.
That's all right. You can.
Don't half-step.
I'm just walking to dinner, and Darrell's like, you're half-stepping to dinner.
I wasn't half-stepping to dinner. That's one thing.
No,
especially with the media lunch.
When there's food, we're not half-stepping to get to eat. That's for sure.
So tell me this, for you, and I asked the other guys earlier, what's been your favorite part or your experience in Minnesota over the course of your time?
Man, I'd probably say some of the stuff we do during fall camp. We fall camp different at Minnesota. We went to Kevin Hart last year after a practice. That was one of my favorite ones. I love Kevin Hart. That's one of my favorite.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
He's funny. So that was one of those. But honestly, any of the experiences that we've had during fall camp, we do a lot. Honestly, it's just great. Team bonding, getting close with the guys. So,
we talked about last year. I think it was break the boring that was in the fall camp. I want to say, right, even into the winter, into the fall camp. But this coaching staff does do. I mean, they put in more work, I think, than most in terms of trying to come up with unique ways. And sometimes outside people might look and say, well, they're gimmicky or whatever you want to say. But do you like that every week there's something fresh? There's a theme during the season.
Yeah.
There's a theme, during fall camp does it keep it fresh? Does that help?
Yeah, it definitely keeps things exciting, man. Instead of somebody just coming up, all right, here's what we're doing, practice, we're doing this day. It brings a sense of energy, and it brings honestly more to the table than just sitting up there and telling what to do, who we're playing this week. It's awesome, honestly. I really love it. I think the guys really enjoy it. Guys from the outside might think it's stupid, corny. We don't care. It's fun to us, so I'm not really worried about it.
No, there's something to the bonding of off-field activities. If it's a Beyonce concert, if it's going to a hospital to visit children, whatever it might be. There's a benefit to doing other things outside. We love football. I mean, I love it to the bone. I know you do. We all do, or we wouldn't be here. But there's a big benefit to doing some fun, engaging things that aren't football related.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you got this 27 chain on. Tell us about that. That's a shiny thing you got there.
Yeah, it's a homage to my uncle Steve King. He played at University of Michigan. He passed away a couple years ago, so he's really the reason why I wear 27. He wore 27. My dad wore 27. My other uncle wore 27 in college. So 27 is just a really big number, and I wanted to keep it ever since he passed away. Honestly, it's been really more important to me, obviously, since then. I got it tatted on me too, so I'm always gonna rock this.
You represent 27 awesome,
Yes,
man.
sir. I appreciate it, man. I hope I am.
Well, DT, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here on the podcast.
Great. Thanks for having me.
We'll let Tyler get on with the rest of his day here at Big Ten Football Media Day. I'm sure they got you recording promos and doing interviews and podium time. And you've been through the drill before.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited, though.
Always fun to have you on, man. Thank you.
Sir. Appreciate you.
Can't wait for August 31st.
Man, me either. Either, man.
There he is. Tyler Nubin, Golden Gopher Safety. It's episode number 80. I hope you enjoyed our visit with Tyler Nubin here at Big Ten Football Media Days in Indianapolis. My thanks to both Darrell and Tyler for spending time with us on the Go Gopher Podcast, episode number 80 in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're presented by Sunbelt Business Advisors and True North Mergers and Acquisitions. If you're buying or selling a business, visit sunbeltminnesota.com or tnma.com. We're also partnered with Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union, a locally member-owned full-service financial invested in you. You can learn more at affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. That's affinityplus.org/Go Gophers. And we're sponsored by State Farm agent Tony Hoagland. Again, I'd invite you to listen to past podcasts, and please be sure to subscribe to the Go Gopher Podcast right now. It's free to subscribe and free to listen. And please be sure to share the link to the podcast with others so they can subscribe and listen as well. From Indianapolis, Indiana, this has been the Go Gopher Podcast. We'll talk again next week.